Good afternoon, everyone. I am really excited to be here today to share how at the Sastrana Morning Post we are evolving data analysis into business analytics. We often hear that data is a new oil, but oil in its pure and raw nature is worthless. It needs to be transformed and refined in order to be useful, and its derivatives come into a variety of qualities. Data is not different. In 2017, Gartner released a survey showing that 85% of big data projects fail. The same year, VentureBeat measured that 87% of data science projects never make it into production. And according to Gartner, again, they predicted that in 2022, which means this year, only 20% of data insights will deliver real outcomes. In other words, 8 insights out of 10 do not deliver any value to the business. Those numbers are striking, and I am sure that in this virtual room today, it might not come as a surprise. It highlights the gap that exists between the business and data. A top manager might interpret that as a waste of time and money, but it's important to clear that out right away. Most data projects are about innovation, and we know that for everything new, it is about taking risk, experimenting, learning, and iterating very fast. And so these should be seen as opportunities. If today 20% of the outcome of a data team has a positive impact on a company, what would it be when the same team matures and enhances this ratio to 30%, 40%, and even 50%? So why projects are not working? The reasons fall into two main categories. First, technology-driven failures, and second, organizational and project management issues. According to a study released in 2017 by David Becker, the two main reasons by far are wrong and unequal skills dedicated to projects and an incorrect business objective. 7 out of the top 10 results, if we look into more details, are organizational and project management issues, and only 3 of them are technological limitations. Over a year ago, I have been appointed head of the data team with one clear mission: to increase the value we are getting out of data. And after an assessment, we observed that our biggest challenge was to close the gap between the data and the business rather than technical issues. Today, we will focus on organizational and project management issues, assuming that your company has successfully achieved the first phase of data maturity, building a data infrastructure, integrating with systems, putting in place dashboards and reports for KPI monitoring, and providing insights and strategic and operational recommendations. As mentioned, the number one reason why projects are failing is because of inadequate skills. A well-rounded analyst needs 4 key competencies: strong technical knowledge to be able to extract data in SQL, write Python script to transform data, and be familiar with business intelligence tools to build dashboards. He or she needs to have strong analytical skills with a mathematical rigor and critical thinking capacity. Some business acumen to ensure the relevancies of analysis, understand context, and understand a company's strategy and its operations. And lastly, soft skills to communicate properly their findings, to manage projects and stakeholders, to refine and challenge requirements. Finding talents that are strong in those 4 areas is like asking for the moon. So usually companies building a data team will start focusing on more technical and analytical aspects, as the number one priority is to collect the data, to transform them and build the business intelligence layer, which are very technical. But after completing the first phase of data transformation, the need to better understand the business increases and the type of profile to be hired changes. At SEMP, we spent great efforts to reduce technical complexities. We built self-service tools empowering anyone without any knowledge of SQL to extract data from our data lake, to build reports and to build dashboards. Our engineers are not only in charge of the data quality and availability, but also creating great data products that are flexible and very easy to use. Reducing the technical barrier allowed us to hire atypical profiles, like a former digital marketers with a strong interest in learning data, bringing with them their expertise on how to reach and nurture users. We also hired recently one of our journalists who understand perfectly the specificities of newsroom operations. And this is facilitating communication and collaboration. Those additional in-house expertise allow us to better refine stakeholders' needs and interpret the requests with what the end user might not have expressed as it was obvious for them. And so ultimately, this boosts the relevancy of our work. Strong analytical skills remain a necessity. Understanding that outliers in a dataset can skew results. Knowing the existing of spurious correlations, having in mind that correlation is not causation, and being familiar with the concept of statistical significance. Trainings are important to skill up new joiners coming from a diverse background, but we are also dividing analysis by technical complexities and involve our data scientists every time it is required. We are also reinforcing our data infrastructure by implementing what is called a modern data stack with data catalog, data modeling, and data lineage tools, automating documentation and processes, increasing data quality, and facilitating the management of our architecture that is increasing exponentially in complexity. So time saved on support and maintenance of our backend allow us to invest it in higher added value tasks. In order to reinforce collaboration and communication with business units, we created cross-departmental squad to break silos. And also, little by little, we are decentralizing our data expertise. A squad is a team comprised of a product manager, developers, and a digital marketing team with a data analyst. We set 3 squads with, for each, a dedicated mission. The first one is in charge of growing our reach. The second focuses on improving the engagement and retention of readers. And the last one, to convert our most loyal users into paid subscribers. The groups are autonomous and have the authority to make decisions and set priorities by themselves. They set their own governance and meeting cadence and are all sitting together. Having a data representative embedded within each team proved to be highly beneficial. Feedback are provided on a daily basis, improving agility when adjustments are required. Knowledge is constantly shared, priorities are aligned, but it also fostered data adoption as we see a higher number of data-driven decisions made on a daily basis. Also, to scale our impact, we are decentralizing our expertise with some divisions hiring data analysts to provide intelligence on metrics that matters. With a growing demand for data, it removes the dependency on a single team, and with an embedded model, it breaks here as well silos and boosts data democratization. Our team remain the owner of the data and is in charge of providing accessible data of high quality, defining the single source of truth, the governance, and keep supporting those departments with more complex projects involving artificial intelligence. The second reason why projects are failing is the incorrect definition of business objectives. Every data analysis or project starts with a business need. Having it right is critical. We already mentioned how a more diverse team and closer collaboration with other departments help to bridge the gap between data and business, but that is not enough. So we developed a framework. All analyses we produce are categorized into 4 buckets. Descriptive analysis, aiming to describe what happened the previous week, the previous month, or the previous quarter. Diagnosis analysis, to explain why it happened. Predictive analysis, to anticipate what can occur in your future. And prescriptive analysis, what should be done in order to revert trends or accelerate growth. The outcome for the business increases as you move towards more diagnostic, predictive, or prescriptive analysis. For instance, the first two look at the past, while predictive and prescriptive analysis focus on the future. However, the complexity of those analyses increases as well. It might be because we need more data than we are currently collecting, because the modeling methodologies might require advanced mathematical knowledge, or it might necessitate a higher business understanding. We did an assessment internally, and 90% of the requests we received last year were about understanding what happened, calling for descriptive analysis only. We had around 9% of requests aiming to explain a specific phenomenon, diagnostic analysis, and only one demand for a forecast, so predictive analysis. Labeling a project during the definition phase as one of the 4 types helps to set expectation and encourages us to think further. Why is that question important? How would that be actionable? Based on the finding, what can be done about it? It forces stakeholders to formulate hypotheses, to provide context, and share their strategy and vision. A warning though, stakeholder will tend to articulate very broad prescriptive questions such as, my sales are done, what should I do? And thinking that that is a prescriptive business question, and expecting that the team will find a solution to their problem, though it is not how it is working. There are so many things that can be done, so many initiatives, and some of them will require high investment. Others might necessitate expertise that we do not have internally. It can be something that is not in line with our long-term strategy. In other words, a broad and open question is a dead-end rabbit hole. So a good prescriptive question is a multiple choice question derived from the observations we've made from descriptive and diagnosis analysis. So those analyses should be done sequentially with at every step feedback from the subject matter expert and refinement of the business question. When we think data, we tend to narrow the scope to quantitative analysis only. However, in order to become more prescriptive, it is necessary to expand the depth of the studies. Qualitative analysis will enrich findings. For instance, when comparing the performance of 2 marketing campaigns, metrics will tell you which one is the most cost-effective. But it is only by looking at their differences in quality that will allow you to understand why it has been outperforming. It is the illustration that is more attractive, the copy or the call to action, or is it because the targeted audience is better? On top of that, information collected from sales, traffic performance, marketing initiatives tells you what happened in the past. We can observe trends to forecast the future, but this is based on the assumption that what happened in the past will occur again. And if there is changes in the market, it will take up to 3 months between 3 months and up to 1 year to be reflected in your projections. Doing frequent market and user research, gathering first-hand information on what consumer wants, accelerate and refine the understanding of market changes, and provide valuable insights on how a company should react. Last but not least, keeping an eye on how the competition is performing and what innovation they are delivering provides a lot of perspectives. If your sales are increasing by 30%, but the whole market is growing by 50%, you might not be in a very good position. Within the data team, we are expert in quantitative analysis. The three other practices are a complete unknown to us. So we are partnering with our marketing department, which provides qualitative analysis and runs market research, with our product team, who hired a user researcher running constant surveys to better understand our readers, and with the strategy team of the company generating market intelligence reports on demand. The business analytics strategy has been crafted in partnership of those other departments, highlighting once more the importance of communication and collaboration. It is important as well to combat the perverse effect of KPIs. During the time of during the time of British colonial rule in India, the government was concerned about the number of venomous snakes in Delhi. So it offered a bounty for every dead cobra. Initially, this proved to be a very successful strategy, resulting in many dead cobras. However, some of the more enterprising citizens realized they could breed cobras and derive an income from collecting bounties. When the government found out about this malpractice, they scrapped the reward scheme and snake breeders proceeded to release the now valueless cobras onto the street. Delhi ended up with more snake than before. The British government's misjudgment coined the term the Cobra Effect and illustrates an important point. Policies that seem entirely sensible can lead to unintended and sometimes unpleasant consequences. A very similar misfortune happened in Vietnam with rats when the country was back then a French colony. This story is a great metaphor for what might happen in the corporate world when you set KPIs. People have a natural tendency to focus on the metrics and to take the shorter road to target achievements. Though when priority is not the outcome, but the number only, it could lead to counterproductive results. No KPI will ever be perfect, and there will always be paths to game the system. So together, trust and transparency is one of our company value, and we are instilling a culture of innovation where failures are seen as opportunities to learn and grow. And the fastest we learn, the more we grow, rewarding development at the same level as performance. This mitigates the perverse effect of KPIs, but we also revisit frequently the number we are monitoring and add new ones when necessary to combine short-term success with long-term interest. Five years ago, when we started our digital transformation, we thought that the first step will be the hardest, building from scratch a data team, an infrastructure, and proving the added value of our know-how to a company that has been operating over 100 years without us. But after successfully completing this first step, and as we continue to scale and invest, we are facing new challenges, necessitating that we reinvent ourselves. In closing, in 1979, Douglas Adams published a science fiction comedy called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which became a classic in the computer science community. In this movie, the entire population of a planet built a super intelligence machine able to answer any question. They gathered and asked the number one question which they believe will help them to solve all of their problems. Now, I don't want to spoil the book, and it exists as a movie if you prefer watching it. But the question that has been asked didn't make any sense. And after a million of years of complex calculation, the program provided an answer that didn't make more sense, completely worthless, frustrating everyone. With humor, the author showed that the question is harder than the answer. If you can properly phrase the question, the answer is the easy part. Articulating the right business need is a collaboration between a data team and the subject matter expert. So it is important to put in place an organizational structure that fosters collaboration and communication, to set up processes and the tools allowing fast experimentation, to encourage diversity of skills, to go beyond quantitative analysis and build a culture where metrics are not only seen as an evaluation of individual performance, but as an indicator that we are collectively moving in the right direction. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope this presentation has been useful. And I am now very happy to answer a question from the audience.